Hello dear friends, and welcome to today's session. In this session I'm going to teach introduction to Excel sheet or Excel MS. In this case you should be able to understand the things that I'll be talking about. Make sure that you have a computer that is running, and make sure that you have MS Office installed, that is Word, Excel and PowerPoint. So in this case we'll be just dealing with MS Excel. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So for us to be able to do MS Excel, we need to start the MS Excel. For us to do that, you come here to the start key, then type Excel, and then Excel will pop up here, then click Excel. So then it will open. It will take some time, it may take some seconds to open, but when you go to the start key and type MS Excel, then it should be able to open. So for me it has opened, and this is how it pops up, or this is how it looks when it opens up. At the top here we have blank workbook. Down here we have several templates that are already prepared for you in case you want to use an already made template. In this case, for example, billing statement, blood pressure tracker, expense report, or so many of them. For example, if you are connected to the internet, you realize that there are so many of them compared to mine, because for me I'm not connected to the internet as we speak. So for us, we'll come back here and select Excel blank workbook. We select a blank workbook. Then when it opens, I'll be able to explain some few terminologies that you need to familiarize with for you to understand this session very well. The first thing that you should be able to understand is at the top here, we have tabs. We have the Home tab, we have Insert tab, we have Layout tab, and we have Formulas, Data, Review, Help, so many of them here at the top. Then under each tab, we have something called ribbon. A ribbon is this one below here, and for example, if you click Home, there are some other icons that opens here, so these are called ribbons. And the ribbon is divided into subgroups. For example, this first section is called clipboard. The second one is called font. The third one is called alignment, number, then so on and so forth until the end. And you realize that in each group, sometimes there is this launch button, and this launch button is used whereby all the features of a given group, for example a font group, they don't fit in that group. So the Microsoft, what they do, they create a launch whereby you can acquire more, or you can be able to view more and more features from that side. So that's all. That's what you need to know. These are tabs. Then these are ribbons. Then under ribbons we have groups of our categories. Then under those categories they are named, and you can be able to use the launch button to be able to see more about a given group. Then the next thing that you should be able to understand is a sheet. So for example, this one is sheet 1. In case I want to add another one, I just click this additional sign. Then you can be able to see I have added sheet 1 and I have sheet 2. Then I can add another one to have sheet 3. Then I can add another one to have sheet 4, and so on and so forth. So for me, I have those sheets, and in case you want to delete a sheet, you just right click that sheet, then click delete. Then that sheet will be deleted. Then you can also be able to hide a sheet. For example, you can also hide a sheet, and then it will be hidden. If you want to unhide, you just click unhide. Then unhide, you click the sheet that you want to unhide. The next thing that you need to understand is something called formula bar. In Excel, this row does not exist. In Word, this row does not exist. But when you come to the Excel, this row exists. Here is the place where you enter the formula that you want to use in Excel. As you all know, Excel is used to do calculations most of the time. And if you have never used it, don't worry. I'll be showing you that in the upcoming videos, and also I may show some of them in this video. Then the next thing that you should understand is that each Excel that you open, it is called a book. That's why at the top here, it is called book 1. It is called book 1. So this is a workbook. This, and when it have several sheets, we can say that this is a worksheet. When we have several sheets here, but the Excel as a whole is called workbook. Then when it have several sheets, it is called a worksheet. The next thing that you are supposed to know is something called columns. So what do we mean when we talk about columns? Is that the columns are named using A, B, C, D all the way as you go to the right hand side, and when you reach to the final when you reach to Z or Z, then it is start again AA up all the way. It has so many cells, it has so many columns that you cannot exhaust. So the one that run from up down, these ones, for example, column B, column C, column D, column E, column, just all the way, the ones that run from up down ones, they are called columns. These are called columns. Then the next thing that you should understand is that we have something called rows. So rows are named using numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down ones, and there are so many rows that you can be able to see here, and you can even add more and more and more as your need arises. So we have said these are columns, this is a row, these are tabs, we have ribbon, and each ribbon we have subgroups. Then we have a sheet. I have shown you how to run a sheet. Then I have also shown you that this is a workbook. That's why it is written book 1. The next thing that you're supposed to understand is that we have something called cells. We have something called cells, and in each and every cell, that is where you enter your data. For example, I want to write marks, then I will enter whatever I want to enter in these cells. The good thing is that each and every cell has a name. Each and every cell has a name. Let's take, for example, this cell. How do we name this cell? For example, you can say this is B4. B4. So how did I come up with B4? The first thing that you are supposed to know is that I took the letter under which I took the letter in the column in which the cell lies, or the cell is. Then I take the other side, I take something called the row number. So that is B4. For example, if I select this one, this is C9. Then I can select another one. This is K14. Then the other thing that I will show is when we talk about arrange. We can say that, for example, arrange is a group of cells that are within the same place. For example, in this case, we have a cell. The ones that I have selected here. This is a range. So, for example, if you are trying to reference to this range, you can say you pick the upper number, that is B4, this first cell. Then you say through F11. This last cell. So for us to be able to do that, we can say this is C3. So for us to say through, we use full colon through F11. So that's how you can be able to reference to arrange. That's how you can be able to reference to arrange. So I hope that you have understood the terms that I have defined here, or the terms that I have used here. We have some terms like tabs, we have ribbons, we have groups, we have a formula bar, we have columns, we have rows, we have sheets, we have books, then we have cells, then we have range, and some other few terms that I have defined. The next thing is that I want to create, for example, I'm a teacher and I want to enter the marks of a student or students. How can I be able to do that? So, for example, I can come here and type inside here to enter the records. So I can say student marks. So for example, I want to record student marks. So then I click OK. So one thing that you realize is that when I have typed inside this cell, it looks like the ones that I have typed here, student marks, have spilled to the next cell. But this is just a illusion. It is not the reality, because all whatever I have typed is already in this first cell. It is already in this first cell, and it is not in this second cell. For example, I can type anything in the second cell, and you realize that everything that I have typed in second cell is there, and when I click at the first cell, I have everything that I typed again. So that's how you can be able to enter data in an Excel, in a cell. Then, for example, I want to enter student marks. Then this one, I have student, I have name, then I have ID, then I have, for example, I have cat 1, then I have cat 2, then I have cat 3. So there is one thing that I will say. For example, in this case, when you type something and click enter, the Excel automatically takes you down to the next row. When you click enter, it takes you to the next row. But when you want to move, for example, or like the way I have typed these names and this name ID cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, so I have clicked tab. So when you click tab, you go on the right hand side. When you want to go back, when you want to go the opposite direction, you click shift tab. When you click shift tab, you go in the reverse way. Then another thing is that when you click enter, you go down once, and when you want to go up once, you just hold shift key, then you click enter. You'll be able to go up once. You'll be able to go up once. So for example, I want to enter the name of this student, for example, Peter. Then I enter the ID. Let's say, for example, the ID is 200, or the ID is Peter, for Peter. Then cat 1, let's say, for example, is scored 5 out of 10. The second one is scored 8. Then the last one is scored 7. So in this case, I have created data in this Excel sheet. I have created data in this Excel sheet. Then I can click enter to enter the next student. For example, I can enter someone else, Mark. Then I create MA is the school ID. Then I can say Mark scored 6, then scored 5, then scored 9. Then I click enter again. So every time that I want to enter another student, I'll just click enter after filling a row of the first student or the previous student to enter the next student. So for example, I will enter another name, for example, George. Then GE is the school ID, then I enter 8, then I enter 2, then I enter 10, then I enter OK. So I have made a mistake intentionally so that I can show you how you can be able to edit details in a given cell. For example, in this case, I have entered the name George wrongly. So for example, if I click on that cell and try to end it, you realize that it replaces everything that was previously in that cell. But for us, we don't want to replace everything. So what do I do to be able to come to enter inside here so that I can be able to edit that? You double click on the document that you want to edit. For me, I want just to remove one R. Then the name is OK. So basically, make sure that when you are typing your work, if you want to go down once, you just click enter. If you want to go down once using the column, you click enter. If you want to follow the row, you click tab. And if you want to go backwards, you can just use shift tab. If you have entered, then you can go back using control enter, shift enter, sorry. Shift Enter to go backwards. Another way that you can be able to navigate this is that you can be able to use arrows on your keyboard so that you can move to any direction that you wish. But this is a very awkward method of moving. If you can be able to do everything just by the use of the keyboard and avoid the use of the mouse, is the best thing. For example, I can select anywhere that I want to type using the mouse, but this is not the right way to do this. So you will give me like 5 minutes so that I can be able to type other work, then I'll be back. So as you can be able to see now, I have entered some few more records. Sorry for that. As you can be able to see, I have entered some few more records in this Excel sheet. And when you look at this Excel sheet, I have entered some few students, and I have entered the student name, I have entered the ID, I have entered the Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3. And this is the data now that I have entered in this Excel sheet. I have entered this data in this Excel sheet. So for example, if I want to fit, for example, you realize that this first name does not fit in this row. How do I make this one fit in this row? How do I make this one fit in this row? So for example, if I come here and I put my mouse in between row A, column A and column B, you realize that my mouse or my cursor changes into two-sided arrow. It changes into two-sided arrow. Then I can drag so that I can give enough space for this first student marks. So for example, that's the one way that you can be able to do that. Another way is that you can be able to do that by just putting your mouse in between here and double click. Then it will create enough space for this word that I have typed inside here. So let's take, for example, you typed a lot of work that does not fit in these columns. So how can you be able to fix that at once? You just select all the way to the last one, then you double click anywhere in between that one. So you realize that everything has been fitted, because for this one has shrinked, these ones have shrinked because there is no need of having bigger space. But for this one, it has enlarged to fit in or whatever I typed inside. So basically that's how you can adjust, but for me I'll not adjust this one. So when you look at this one, it does not really appeal our eyes when we are using it. It doesn't really appeal our eyes when we use it. So how can we make this one better? You can just select this one, then come home, then select bold, then select bold. Then it can make some sense now. But we want to make it more appealing. So first of all, select the cell that it is lying in between, or the cell that contains the name. Then drag all the way to the last cell where you have entered your data. For example, there is nothing that I have entered in column F, in column G, all the way to the other side, but I have entered something from column A to column E. Then after entering that, then you come here where we have center and a merge, that is tab home, then ribbon and a group of alignment, then click center and merge. When you click center and merge, then it merges all the cells to form one big or one giant cell. Then the word or the name that is inside that cell was centered in the sheet that you are working with. Then from there we can also select this one, so you can click the row from this side and say, for example, bold. You can be able to click that and say, for example, you want to bold. So basically that's how you enter data in this Excel sheet. That's how you can be able to edit data. That's how you can be able to format the data. Also, that's how you can be able to define or to name a cell. For example, if you are told to name this the cell in which cut 3, the cut 3 that Mark did, that is this cut, you can say it is E4. And we have said also you can be able to do a lot with the Excel. For now, this was just a basic. So in the next video, I'll be showing you how to find the totals of this student, the average, and also how to find who has the maximum and the minimum marks when it comes to this workbook. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.